Adam Hoge. So sometimes you record a podcast and you break a whole game down and then something happens right when you get done with the podcast that changes the whole thing. And that's what happened today with Justin Fields going on the reserve COVID-19 list. What a fitting way to end this 2021 Chicago Bears season. So there's still a small chance he could clear the protocols in place Sunday in Minneapolis, considering that you have to be symptomatic to even test positive now with go through the testing process with the way the NFL has this now. That seems like unlikely he would be asymptomatic and be cleared by Sunday. I guess it's possible, but there's a good chance Andy Dalton's going to be starting for the Chicago Bears this week. So we just did a whole episode on debating whether or not Justin Fields even should play in this game. I think that that's still relevant, the conversation whether or not he should have played or not played. If you're on the side of he shouldn't have played, well then, hey, look, maybe it works out for you here. We still talk about that here. We're going to leave that all in the podcast. And then, to be honest, the way we previewed things and made our predictions, some of this is going to sound like it doesn't apply anymore, but I got to be honest, I don't know that my prediction changes a whole lot with Andy Dalton playing. We talked about passing yards and passing touchdowns. Andy Dalton's probably not going to run for any touchdowns like Justin Fields may have, but I really don't know that a whole lot changes. And quite frankly, we're all trying to get to next week anyway, right, with all the news. So instead of re-recording the whole thing, here's the podcast. We apologize that Justin Fields is not playing anymore, but I think you'll still enjoy a lot of this conversation. And we will be there Sunday with a post-game episode after the Bears and Vikings. Here's the podcast.
It's Hoge Jahns.
Starts off with the very first play.
Here they come. Football is loose. Bears recover inside the 10.
And then for the offense to score.
Here the give is taken by Montgomery. And how about this start for the Bears?
From NBC Sports Chicago, it's Adam Hoge.
Perfection.
And from The Athletic, it's Adam Jahns.
You're incredible.
The turnovers really jumped out.
It's deflected and picked off. It's Deshaun Gibson. Letting football is loose. Who's got it? And Chicago has recovered.
That defense just really balled out. They played hard.
It's the Adams.
The Adams converge.
Hoge Jahns.
That's what we're here for, guys, to win.
What's up? Welcome in. Hoge Jahns back with you. Week 18. There's still a game to preview.
Doesn't it sound weird? Week 18?
Well, there was a Week 18 last year.
Which one?
The one the Bears played the Saints in that wasn't really a playoff game.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a playoff game, but it wasn't really because the Bears didn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
You're just being a smart aleck, but I know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, that's what we do here.
I don't like the sound of Week 18. You got to get used to it.
Yes, you do. It's not going anywhere. Pretty soon there'll be a Week 19.
Who needs a preseason?
And then the Super Bowl will be played in April. And,
I'm bored with that, but it opens up a whole range of different cities to host. But
yeah, the Bears could probably host the Super Bowl in April. Maybe. Be very hit or miss. It'll either be 80 degrees or it'll be snowing.
Monsoon.
Because that's April, my birthday month. I've experienced it all on my birthday. All right, welcome in. We are back with you. We apologize. We ended up not doing a midweek episode this week with everything going on with JD's funeral, and just quite frankly weren't up to doing it. We pushed it back to Wednesday originally, and then we're just like, you know what? Not important enough. We apologize. It just we got to get to next week. First of all, anyway, like with the Bears stuff. There is a game to preview. We're here to do that. We're going to have fun today. And more than anything, we just appreciate everyone sticking with us and understanding and all the support that you guys have put out for everyone, including, most importantly, JD's family. I know we all appreciate that. Got the JD sweatshirt on today. If you're watching on YouTube. So you can, these are still available, obviousshirts.com. Go ahead and order it. 100% of the proceeds goes towards Parker's Fund.
Which is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Again.
Yeah, no, I mentioned it on Sunday. It's a lot of work. They still got to get everything out, and it's an incredible donation by Joe and everyone at Obvious Shirts. So check it out. They also got the sweet little thing on the sleeve. Jeff Dickerson. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, check it out. Hoge Jahns on YouTube. Johns has got the Hoge Jahns winter hat on, which you can also buy.
We'll see how long I can wear it. It's hot in the house.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to get the trucker hat, which I have. Actually, I have it right here. Wow, that's convenient. That was actually not planned. But
Put her on.
The sweet trucker hat.
Sharp.
So those are available too, obviousshirts.com. All right. So Bears, Vikings, last game of the season. We are certainly used to that, making the trip up to Minneapolis in the glorious month of January. I think the high on Sunday is 1 degree, which is why they put a roof on that stadium, thank God.
It's only 8 here in Chicago this morning.
Right. It's cold and it's winter. So, yeah, it'll be another nice, cozy game inside U.S. Bank Stadium with nothing on the line and an impending coach getting fired.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So, even if the Bears and Vikings, say the Bears win and they finish with the same record, that would be 7-10, right?
Yeah.
The Vikings still hold the second place tiebreaker in the division, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. I went through this and put this in my 10 Bears things on Monday. I was looking at, you go through the long list of tiebreakers within the division. I got pretty far down the list.
I feel like they've added some.
Yeah, I know. Well, now there's common opponents, which I think was added because of, this extra game you have. Maybe it was already in there, but it's even more important now that you have this extra game against an extra AFC team that you wouldn't have normally had. So, regardless, it kept going down, and I'm like, oh, they're tied in every single one. And then I got to strength of victory, which the Vikings have a much better strength of victory. So
they beat the Packers.
Yeah. Small chance I'm still wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's no way that the Bears can win that tiebreaker, which really only matters for scheduling purposes. And so, again, I had this in my column, but off the top of my head, the Bears will host the Houston Texans and the San Francisco 49ers next year due to finishing in third place. And then the other game, the road game, will be decided by the loser of the Saints-Falcons game on Sunday. So if you want another game to pay attention to, Saints-Falcons, whoever loses that game, the Bears will play next year. So I know Johnsy's rooting for that New Orleans trip. So you are a big Falcons fan this weekend.
Absolutely. Yes. 100%.
Go Dave Ragone and Cordell Patterson. Go get it. Yeah. Welcome in, Hoge Jahns. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Johns. Read us at NBCSportsChicago.com. That's me, Johnsy's at theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns, where you go to subscribe. Another week, another rumor. Matt Nagy had to defend this one. This week kind of seems a little silly because it's just a few days away from the season being over, but still interesting. Boomer Esiason came out yesterday on a Wednesday morning and said Matt Nagy's already been told he's getting fired. We're doing that whole thing again. Had to ask Nagy about it in the press conference. He handled it well. He actually was a very strong denial, I have to say. Like, he could have just kind of glossed over it, moved on, and then maybe you wouldn't have believed him. But the way he denied it was pretty strong.
He almost seemed to imply that, Boomer Esiason has his phone number. So why don't you just call and ask me? Like, that's the impression I got.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like, Matt Nagy's a pretty cordial guy in social league circles. Like, he's a beer drinking football guy. He literally is a beer drinking football guy. So I imagine Boomer, at least the sense I got from Nagy, has his phone number. So just send me a text. Confirm this with me if you can.
So we at least did it in the press conference, and it came up, and then we move on. And the only reason why I feel like it does matter, one is logistical. Like, if they really had told him already that he's getting fired, then technically they could be interviewing coaches the last couple weeks. So now I've already
but who's doing that interviewing?
Well, right. There's that.
Who is firing Matt Nagy?
I don't know how you could really keep that a secret, because you have to inform the league that you're interviewing coaches. That's just protocol. All the other teams need to know. So I just find it hard to believe that if you're like trying to secretly, okay, Matt, you're getting fired. We're telling you this. If you want to finish out the rest of the season, you can. Now we're going to secretly go get.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Now we're going to go secretly interview coaches because everyone knows we're not really prepared for this right now. We don't want it to leak out. I mean, I got to say, like, it's something the Bears, if there was a team was going to try to do it, I could see it being the Bears. But I also don't know how it wouldn't have leaked out already, like who they're interviewing. So I don't really buy it, is what I'm saying.
Either fire the guy or you don't. You know?
Right.
You don't ask him. You don't fire him, then ask him to do you a solid. Now, Matt Nagy's a solid guy. By all accounts, maybe he'd do it. But, like, that just seems extra dysfunctional for a dysfunctional franchise. But, like you said, could happen. Who knows? But that was a strong denial by Matt Nagy.
But why does this keep coming up then? That's what's weird about it.
I think this is my thought on it.
Because Biggs had a thing in his story this week, too, that was like, some people believe Nagy's known since the Lions week. But it was kind of vaguely, I don't know. But it was another instance where, like, someone put out there that this has already been decided. I mean, it has been decided, but, like, the fact that he's been told.
I think that's the difference there. There's expecting to be, there's believing to be, there's feeling you're going to be fired, which I think everybody in the NFL expects, right? Like Matt Nagy himself may have expressed those feelings, and that's what you're hearing around the league right now. I think I'm going to be fired. I'm fired. But then there's a difference between actually sitting across from George McCaskey and him telling you, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done for our team. That 2018 season sure was fun, but we're going in a different direction. Like, there's a difference between that.
Yeah.
And that's how George operates.
And then he went on to say, too, Nagy did yesterday, that he expects that to happen Monday. Like
Monday morning, yes.
That's when the meetings will occur. That's when they usually do. Nothing has changed. So I guess where's this keep coming from? It's just weird that it persists.
If you want my read on it again, reading the tea leaves of Matt Nagy, again, he'll have that Monday meeting, and he expects to be fired in it. That's it.
Yeah, I think so, too. Then the bigger question becomes, what else happens that day?
What do you do with Ryan Pace?
I think something else happens. I'm
starting to feel that way, too.
But I don't know when it is. Does that make sense? And I also think it might be in flux. Like, let me put it this way. Nagy might be the only thing you hear about Monday. For sure. And then maybe they come out and they say, hey, look, there's going to be a little bit of restructuring, but it might not be like specifically defined right away. And I'll tell you why, because it might matter on who they're trying to hire. And let me just give you some hypotheticals. Okay, and this is all just speculation, but it's hypothetical just to illustrate what I'm trying to say. If you were to somehow land in a situation where you could get Sean Payton, well, Sean Payton and Ryan Pace know each other. So that's a pairing that could continue to work. If you were, again, this is all just hypothetical, if you were to go after Jim Harbaugh, I don't know this for a fact, but having looked at his tenure in San Francisco and remembering a lot of it, very, very successful. Why did it fall apart? Power struggle, right? Trent Baalke, Jim Harbaugh, Jed York, the whole thing didn't mesh together. It all fell apart. So if you're going to hire a guy like Jim Harbaugh, my guess is Jim would want to come in and have control over the roster. Don't know that for a fact, just going off of past experiences and just thinking that I don't know if that fits well with Ryan Pace. So it just what I'm trying to say is I would not surprise me if a week from now Ryan Pace has not been fired, but his future hasn't necessarily been decided completely. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. What I do know, and I have felt this way based on talking to people for a few weeks, the Bears don't want to go down that GM search path, but they just might have to.
Well, they don't want to go down another head coaching
I know,
path
I know,
either,
but
like,
I feel like they're
stop
different.
getting in this position then.
I feel like they're different ones. Because like head coaches are. It's so hard to find that head coach, and it might even be harder to find that GM.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been through this several times before, but I know maybe what I just said there's a bit convoluted, but it's the winds of change are strong right now in Chicago, and it's just not the cold wind that's blowing here. I think they're on that path. They're looking at that path and about to take their first step toward it.
Just got to get through Sunday in Minnesota, where the cold winds will be blowing even colder.
Just not inside.
No, nice and cozy inside a great stadium, US Bank Stadium. The Bears would be very fortunate if
Just hot wind from the Chicago media. See what I did there?
Yes, I see what you did there.
The political reference, yeah.
So Justin Fields is going to play. I don't understand why this is a controversy. If he's healthy to play, you play him. I've actually been shocked by this. Why is there a pushback on this?
I think, well, let me try to articulate the other side. There is this fear, and even we'll have it covering, like, oh, get up, because he's going to be hit. He's going to be shoved out of bounds. We know how this season has played out. Mm-hmm. Teams can take their liberties on Justin Fields, and the Vikings are one team that knows it. They did it. We all saw it, right?
Yeah, they finally got penalized for it, though, so maybe it'll be a little different this week.
Maybe. Not early on. So that I think that's the concern, is you get Matt Nagy's last football game as Bears coach, and you got Justin Fields going out there quarterbacking for him, and you just need to get him. I'm burping. I just burped into the mic.
Wow.
That's a first. It's coffee. You need to get him through those 4 quarters as unscathed as possible.
Yeah.
He had 3 fractured ribs just several weeks ago. He played through that. He just said he couldn't run around or walk around last week pain-free with that rolled ankle.
But he said he can now.
Can now. He's going to have to run now.
I just think he needs to. I really think he needs to.
And I think some folks are, I know what you're going to say, so let me interject. I think some folks would question the value of him getting reps in Matt Nagy's offense once more, since he's going to have to learn a new system next year.
Yeah, to me, it's not so much about that as much as it is, one, playing against a divisional opponent. A team you're going to have to play against a lot. Like Aaron Rodgers knows every single matchup, every single player, Kirk Cousins does too, within the division. Okay, so it's valuable to go out there and play against, to me, especially a team of the Vikings, Lions, or Packers this week. Because these are the teams you play twice a year. You have to know inside out. Even if the Vikings end up undergoing changes, you're going to get to know the personnel. Okay, so I think that there's value in that. And on top of that, it's not so much playing in Matt Nagy's system as this is a guy who I feel like needs to end on a high note. Like, and Chicago needs to see it too. And to me, there's nothing to lose in that regard, because if he ends up having a bad game or things don't go well, which is quite frankly very possible with this offense, we see it most of the time. Well, that's the same thing as where it is now. To just punt on this game and go into the offseason like, I don't know how it went. Like, wasn't great. To me, I don't know that it's just a feeling. It's just a momentum thing. And I do think there is value in it. I see it all the time. It's a little bit different, but at the college level, like to win your bowl game does carry weight sometimes going into the offseason. And I just think for Justin Fields, who is so used to winning, and has not won a football game since early October. He's 2-8 as a starter. Not really much to his fault, but that's just the reality. I think this is a winnable game for the Bears against a divisional opponent that he needs to get reps against. And to go out there, there's not much to lose except, and there's always that except, a catastrophic injury that affects next season. But that could be in any game. So I can't live in fear of that. If he bangs up his ankle again or he breaks a rib again, like, cool. He's got a couple months off. Everything's fine. So I think there's way more to gain than there is to lose by playing him this week.
I'm done playing devil's advocate. I actually side more with you. I am fearful of that catastrophic injury just because it's the Bears, man. There's bad luck. It's how the bounces roll. It's just the truth. I think I understand where you're coming from, and I actually side with it. Like what he said yesterday, I really liked. I'm gonna read what he said because I think this has immense value for a guy who knows he's going to be here next year and knows he's going to be counted on to take that next step and knows he has to be a leader for this team. So here, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Of course, this is Justin Fields yesterday, Wednesday over Zoom. Of course, I could just sit out the last game and just get ready for next season. But every opportunity I get to play the game I love, I'm going to go out and do it, especially if I can do it when we have one more. I think it's just important to show what kind of guy I am to my teammates and coaches. He also mentioned this being potentially one of his last opportunities to play with some of these current teammates. That has value in that locker room. Now, I think some people roll their eyes when conversations like this shift to intangibles because they're hard to quantify. But these are the things football evaluators evaluate. These are things that are important to quarterbacks. These are things right now that are important to Justin Fields. So they carry weight. So, yes, I understand the concern of injury. I think it's an important concern. It's a significant concern. But I side with you. If he's healthy to play. The idea or the hope that he could leave with some good feelings for himself could carry weight into next season.
Well, regardless, he's going to play, so it's something to watch. Does make it more enticing to watch, enticing to cover. And we will break down this game here in a minute. But first, we do have your voicemails from Sunday's win over the New York Giants. What a game that was. Thought the Bears are bad. The Giants are the Giants. Wow. So here you go. Voicemails still came in. Usually we do these earlier in the week, but since we didn't have an episode earlier in the week, here they are. Your voicemails from Bears and the Giants.
Hello?
Do you know who this is?
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
The Hoge Jahns voicemail. The Hoge Jahns voicemail line.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
Got any questions or comments about the Bears? Give the guys a call before, after, or even during the game.
Go Bears!
Hoge Jahns is there. Bob Dabrowski's calling in from the greatest stadium in the greatest city in the greatest world in the universe, Soldiers Field, Chicago, Illinois. Boys, I just wanted to take one quick second and say that I'm sorry for your loss. I never knew JD personally, but I had listened to him and read him for years, and he seems like a great guy. And feeling for you guys and his poor kid, and it's real tough. And I'm very sorry for everything that you guys are going through. But anyway, we got the Bears here today, and it doesn't matter if it's no Justin Fields and it's a Mike Glennon revenge game. It's not a whole lot going on. We got it's like a poo sandwich versus a booger burrito, but hey, I feel like this could be interesting things here today. We got it's whatever. It's whatever. Hopefully Justin Fields plays next week. I really don't understand what's going on with the guy. I don't know if this is extra caution, if he's really hurt, if Coach Nagy just wants to win with every other quarterback in the world other than Justin Fields. Whatever. Go Bears. Bear down. Thinking of you guys, thinking of the Dickerson family and everybody there. Bear down. Happy New Year. Let's go Bears.
Hoge Jahns, it's a great morning and it's a great day for Cole Kmet to score his freaking first touchdown today. Bear down.
This shall be known as the Sean Desai game. What a performance. Stand out.
Hey, this is Vijay from India. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm a huge fan of the podcast. It's halftime and 1 a.m. here, and I'm watching this boring game offensively, of course. That's the price you pay for being a Bears fan, I guess. Anywho, they have a comfortable lead now, but if they drop this game, that would be like a new low. Just imagine this, Glennon being benched for Trubisky, who was benched for Foles, who was benched for Dalton, and if Dalton loses this, I'm going to lose my mind. Bear down.
Watching a game that doesn't matter, doesn't have any bearing on next season, and the only thing I'm taking away right now is, God, it must suck to be a Giants fan.
Well, I have a hard truth. Our offense still sucks.
Looks like the Bears are going to win. Doesn't matter. Nagy's gone. Little something for our buddy. JD, you'll be missed every day. JD. Go Bears.
Andy Dalton just threw an interception. He could have easily had 3 other interceptions earlier today. He had 4 the last game. He stinks. He shouldn't be in there.
Ryan Pace actually thought this guy was worth giving $18 million to. This guy, Mike Glennon, he's awful. He looks terrible.
Good win, boys, but Johns so close on the Cole Kmet touchdown, but so far away. Bear down. Bye.
Hey, guys. It was nice to see that Mike Glennon is finally earning the money the Bears gave him today. Awesome win. It was a dominant performance by Robert Quinn once again. And it was really nice to hear you guys talking about JD and how much he meant to you guys. And as a Bears fan, definitely very sad about it. Seemed like a real good guy and great writer. But nice win today, and hopefully another one next week. Bear down.
I just walked about 2 miles in sub-zero temperatures and paid to go to a bar to watch this game. I asked myself why, and the short answer is because of guys like you and JD is the reason why I stay with this team, even when they frustrate the hell out of me in a 26-point win, which only they can do. So I just want to thank you guys instead of my usual F-bomb-filled rants. Thanks for doing what you guys do and how you guys do it, because you make seasons like this bearable, pardon the pun, and just can't thank you guys enough. Thanks.
Well, thank you, because you guys are the reason why this thing works and is so successful. I love how our voicemails somehow always carry the right tone.
Yes.
Always. Like, if they deserve to be crushed for a horrendous performance, that it comes through. If they have a nice win, like in Las Vegas, it comes through. This time around, like, just hearing, okay, they won, cool, but it's like still the quarterback frustration, Mike Glennon, and of course everyone who chimed in on JD, especially Bobby, and the one at the end there too. We really do appreciate it, and so thank you.
Yes. It means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's still tough. And it probably will continue to be. Just waking up this morning trying to get the motivation to go through this one. But that helps, and I'm glad we played those and still got those in, because hearing stuff like that keeps us going, and I know that's what JD would want us to do for sure.
This podcast is brought to you by DirecTV Stream. Does this sound familiar? You got one device that lets you catch the game live. Another lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching sports highlights on your phone. And you got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings you your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling your remotes, and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. It's a new year, which means it's time to leave behind the things that don't serve you. like overdraft fees. When your checking account balance is running low, the last thing you need is an overdraft fee. But with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, you can save that hard-earned paper without paying overdraft fees. Eligible members can overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals with absolutely no overdraft fees. Make your first good decision in 2022 and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/Adams. That's chime.com/Adams. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank North America, members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Overdraft only applies to debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Limits start at $20 and may be increased up to $200 by Chime. See chime.com/spotme.
Let's jump in. 3 big questions written by our guy, Adam Jahns.
3 big questions. I can't do the Kevin Fishbane.
That wasn't even remotely close.
Well, I feel like I got the deeper voice of the two.
Well, I'll let you guys hash that out.
3 big questions.
No, when he said, he goes, question number 1.
Oh, that's what he does. Question 1. Okay. Number 1. Let's have some fun. Over and unders. Bears are playing Kirk Cousins, my guy. Set these, Adam. Over under on takeaways and over under on sacks.
Well, I think we set the takeaway at so usually
these come in bunches.
Yeah, usually I would just put this at a half.
Let's go 1.5.
But I think 1.5 with the way the Bears have been playing. The only reason I was kind of going the other way is because Kirk Cousins actually protects the ball pretty well. But yeah, I think 1.5. And then you know what? I'm going to take the under though. I'm going to say the Bears get 1
sack strip.
Sure. I mean, that seems likely the way they've been coming off the edge, especially Robert Quinn. So on sacks, let's set that at 2.5.
I like
and that one I'll take the over. I'd say 3.
Okay. Robert Quinn with 1.5.
It'd be cool to see it, right? If he gets 1 more, he breaks his own personal record, right?
Of 19.
But he's at 18 right now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so 18, I think he would need 1.5 to get technically over 19. But
so there we go.
Man, he's been good. We should also mention Jeff Dickerson, good guy of the year. Robert Quinn and Tashawn Gibson. We handed those awards out yesterday and renamed it after Jeff Dickerson. So it's now the Jeff Dickerson Good Guy Award, which goes to the player or players, as we learned this year because we had a tie, who, how do we always put it in there?
They're for the professionalism.
Most willing to help us do our jobs, give effort in their interviews, show up to the interviews, be there every week like they're supposed to be, which these days is even harder than it used to be because, most people were supposed to talk every week back when the locker room days, and that's not the case. So, Tashawn Gibson and Robert Quinn, both worthy. I think some other guys I would give a shout out to, Jalen Johnson as well.
Roquan Smith for speaking after every loss and representing the defense.
Roquan, Darnell Mooney has been out there. Cole Kmet has been out there a ton. I mean, those are usually the guys. David Montgomery too. David Montgomery.
Can I read this quote from Robert Quinn?
Oh yes, you have to. It's the greatest acceptance speech quote of all time.
Yes, and it's something for all you men out there to live by. This is Robert Quinn on getting the award and dealing with the media. And I quote, "I've always been a quiet guy. That's just my personality. And as far as when I have to talk to the media, they say a man's got 2 things, and that's his words and his nuts. You don't want to lose either as a man. So I try to be as honest as I can when I talk to people."
Ken, you got to pull that. We got to add that to the soundboard.
I'd like to see him get his hands on more balls.
Oh, that's a good one.
Love it. All right.
And Larry Mayer's reaction. Because Larry Mayer asked a question, and then he was like, "Yeah, I don't have a follow up to that one."
Yeah, and that's Larry Mayer, who's got a great sense of humor and is usually quick-witted, at least with the movie reference of some bit, you know? It's all right. Question 2. More over-unders. Justin Fields is back, or at least we all expect him to be. All right, Adam. Set the over-under on his passing yards and his total touchdowns.
Well, it's still an offense struggling to move the football. Been better in recent weeks, so 225 passing yards. Still been a lot of these games where they're just not piling up the yards through the air. So I say 225.
And I'd say under.
Yeah, and 1.5 touchdowns. Does that include rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, total touchdowns.
1.5.
I'm going to say he's around 200 passing yards, but he accounts for 2 touchdowns.
Okay. I could see the Bears scoring 3 touchdowns. But wasn't it the Vikings game? They only had 3 points till the very end. Yeah, right?
Yes.
There was the Hail Mary at the end that didn't really, I'm still not convinced, was a touchdown. To Jesper.
Oh, that was a touchdown, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they got 10 points
How
at the
about
end.
They played Jesper Horsted this week. He's off the reserve COVID-19 list, right?
I think they put him on IR yesterday.
Oh.
Which I'm not really sure why, to be honest with you. Bears make roster moves. Yeah, they just put him on IR.
Oh. I write about him. He gets put on the COVID-19 list, and now he's out for good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jesper. All right. Question 3. A lot of talk in Chicago recently about MVP candidates. So, Adam, who are yours? Just give me your top 3.
Aaron Rodgers.
No. I'm kidding.
Can I give you 4?
Okay.
Tom Brady. No, don't know if you heard of him. But I think 2 non-quarterbacks that absolutely should be in the conversation, Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp. What Cooper Kupp's done this year has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. If there was a year that a quarterback shouldn't win this award, and I'm a firm believer there are years where that happens, Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he's been unbelievable. So I think it's a 4-horse race right there.
Cooper was my 4th. The 3 guys, Brady would be my number 1, Rodgers would be number 2.
Okay.
I could be convinced either way, really. If I had a vote, I would go through it. I saw some advanced metrics the other day that showed Tom Brady being slightly above Aaron Rodgers, but I know what Aaron Rodgers means to Green Bay because I've seen him play for 10 years.
Oh,
so I can be convinced other ways. Yeah.
Maybe you will have a vote soon.
Yeah. Oh, it could happen. Am I next in line?
Yeah, I don't know if you're number 51, but whoever's 51 might be getting one. And on that regard, we could talk about this real quick because I was on the radio last night with Hub, and Hub asked me my opinion on this. So I'll tell you guys exactly what I told him on the radio. If for some reason you've missed this whole thing this week, Hub Arkish was on 670 The Score a couple days ago, and long story short, essentially said he has the MVP vote. He is one of the 50 voters who vote for MVP, and he said he will not be voting for Aaron Rodgers because he said he's a bad guy. And then he referenced the vaccination stuff, and it's a whole thing that you should probably go look at yourself if you haven't heard it already, rather than me repeat it all. But this is what I said to Hub, and I do believe this. Where he started to go with that, which was the idea that the personal decisions he made hurt his football team by missing a game. And they were non-competitive in that game, if you remember. Like, they had no chance with our guy Jordan Love out there. I think that's a valid argument. Like, he hurt his team on the field with the choices that he made. And, as I also pointed out, he also had a terrible game in week 1. So, that had nothing to do with that. But if we're going to look at this as you should, in my opinion, as if you're a voter, you look at the body of the season and you say, Aaron Rodgers had 2 bad weeks. He was a terrible quarterback in week 1 against the Saints. Half of his interceptions really was just not good. Cost his team late, whatever week that was, he missed because he was on the COVID list. And that was before, by the way, before everybody started to get it because of this Omicron thing, which was
it was
penetrating
earlier,
the vaccine.
It was still, you didn't have the 5-day return policy.
Right. It was based on the rules. Yeah. If he had been vaccinated, there was a chance he could have played, or there was a much better chance he wouldn't have gotten it. So with Kirk Cousins might have an argument that I would have done there anyway, whatever. In Rodgers' case, it's a little bit more cut and dried that his decisions hurt his team that week. But then I said this to Hub last night on the radio. I said, Hub, this is where you lost me though, because in my opinion, he has done way more the rest of those weeks to overcome those 2 bad weeks. The level of play he's been at, what he's done on the field, that it's worth way more than the things he did to hurt his team, including that week 1 loss. And he's 100% in the conversation because of all that. So, and I think what really got him in trouble was this idea where he's like, well, he's just a bad guy. I'm not going to vote for him. And I made that decision in the offseason.
And that's what went viral, yeah.
Yeah, and that's really, and he apologized for that. Hub came out and said that was wrong, shouldn't have done that, and he had wrote a good column. I recommend you check it out, kind of explaining the whole thing. So good for him for owning it too. But that's where I am on that. I'm like, yeah, I totally agree with you that like his decisions hurt his team, and that should count in the MVP conversation. But it should also count that he's been damn good the other 15 games. Well, 14 games because he's probably not going to play this week. So, anyway, that's where I am on that. I don't know if you want to chime in or not.
The only thought I had on this is, you always look at the best teams, right? And you just look at the Tennessee Titans and to see what they've done without who would have been their MVP candidate and running back Derrick Henry, right? The majority of the season, just came back, right? And just like, wow, like there's MVPs and then there's coaches of the year. And I don't know if Mike Vrabel is getting enough. I don't think there's enough conversation about him being in that picture right now, right? Like
he's my coach of the year.
He should be the coach of the year. He loses one of the top players in the league. Ryan Tannehill has a mediocre season. A.J. Brown, his outstanding receiver, he's been out for a bit. He was missed. And here they are, currently, as we talk, on the 6th of January. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC. Like, how about that? That is an impressive coaching job that I have seen in a long, long time.
Totally agree. And we do get votes for this for the PFWA awards. That will be my vote. Unlike the MVP, I think we're allowed to talk about that. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Like, in terms of the MVP, I just look, Brady leads the league in passing yards. He's going to have like 5,000 after this week if he plays. I mean, there's some meaning for them, right?
Well, and that was the thing I saw. They put the graphic up last week. I forget which game it was, but they were showing Aaron Rodgers' season, and they compared it to Brady, and I didn't even realize Brady has 1,000 more yards than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. He's got more touchdown passes.
Statistically, he probably has a better case than Rodgers.
Yep.
So,
still a darn good team.
Can I call Aaron Rodgers out for one thing though?
Go ahead.
If he had a right to be upset, and it was good. It was good TV and good content, as we would say.
Whenever you call somebody a bum,
yeah,
that's gonna go viral too.
Yeah, look, if he wants to call Hub a bum, fine. He has a right to be upset. But where now he lost me is, don't come out here and be like, no one's ever heard of Hub Arkish. Who's this guy? No one's ever. Hub Arkish is a legend, all right? This guy was he actually, if we're being honest, like, you could write a book about Hub and realize that some of the work that they were doing early in the draft days, right, in Pro Football Weekly, and the influence that they had on the league is a big reason why the league is what it is these days. So don't come out here and be like, well, we've never had a conversation. He doesn't know me. Then you can't follow that up by being like, who's Hub Arkish? Aaron Rodgers should know who Hub Arkish is. If not for nothing else, he's good friends with Wayne Larrivee.
Yeah. And there's a reason he has one of the 50 votes.
Yes.
Of the many NFL writers, the All-Pro voters, there's only 50 of them. And, I think it's the same thing, right? It's the same. The MVP voters are the same as the All-Pro voters. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that's how it works.
I think so.
You and I don't have that. We don't have the years put in that Hub Arkish has. We don't.
And so that part bothered me just a little bit. So I had to call Aaron Rodgers out for that. Now, if he wants to come out now and call me a bum for that and say, who's Adam Hoge, I'm cool with that. That's fine.
You may have another soundbite. Hoge? Hodge? Hooge? Hooge?
Yeah.
Hoagie?
Exactly. But,
Pool reporter Adam Hoge. Hoge. His interview with referee Tony Correnti.
His quote, courtesy of Adam Hoge.
Yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers wants to do that, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I've actually talked to Aaron Rodgers, though. He's like, he's never talked to me. It was brief, but we talked about Brian Urlacher when Urlacher got in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good little quote.
He knows Dan Pompei.
Rodgers?
Yeah, he does. Oh, yeah.
Well, see, that's another guy. You should know who Dan Pompei is.
I
You should
believe
know
he's
who
one-
Hub Arkish is.
I believe he's one of the 50 voters. I know he's a Hall of Fame voter. All right.
Anyway, who cares?
Oh, he's going to love that he made your soundboard.
That's a good one, though. All right, I guess we should get into predictions.
Yeah,
huh?
let's do this.
Bold predictions.
Bears win. Is that bold?
It is bold. Fox, noon, Bears of Vikings. Bears are getting 3.5. I'm going to stick, this has become a bit, but since our friends brought it up on the voicemails, Cole Kmet's going to get his first touchdown. Like, even Dave Montgomery wanted to get him his first touchdown. Like, did you hear what he said yesterday?
Yeah, I did. And he should feel bad about that. That's why I'm
was
almost
open.
surprised they've been razzing him so much, because I'm sure David feels awful about it.
Yeah. Well, teammates are teammates. That's locker room, but
even Nagy, did you hear what he said the other day? That was cold.
Yeah.
He's like, well, David's always been telling me how good of a high school quarterback he was, and I guess we saw that.
He did.
I was like,
whoa.
I had to do a double take. I was like, wow, that was a shot.
And he said that seriously. Not like, well.
Oh, he deadpanned it. Yeah, it was great.
He deadpanned it, yes. He wasn't serious, but he had the serious expression.
It was a great delivery. I loved it.
So, yep, Cole Kmet, touchdown. Maybe catches it from Justin Fields. And I will also go with a Bears victory in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I like how the defense has been playing. I like Fields coming back. As bad as the Giants were, let's give the Bears a little bit of credit. They were as healthy as we'd seen them probably in a month last week. And I think for the most part, although Akeem Hicks he did not practice yesterday. Although
but he doesn't have to.
I didn't see Akeem even. I didn't see Akeem much in that game, I guess.
Really? I thought he was on Spiles.
Okay. He was on. That's like you coming in, in your playing days, just jumping on the pile at the end.
Yeah. Elbow drops.
That was definitely you.
No, defensive back. What I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. All right, let's get through these other games.
What's your score? 23-17.
Oh, I don't know.
You got Bears by 6.
24-20.
Okay.
Yeah, 24-20. For the record, I did not lose my fantasy championship on the David Montgomery jump pass. I ended up losing by 10 points. If it had been less than 6, then David Montgomery would owe both Cole Kmet and myself an apology. So he does not owe me that. I will say, though, Kirk Cousins, he does owe me an apology because him not playing prevented Justin Jefferson from doing anything, and that's what cost me my fantasy championship. So, as has been a long-running theme on this podcast, for it all to end on Kirk Cousins, you know, I'm not going to go as far as to say he's a bad guy, but you know what? He could be a better guy. I'll say that.
You don't like that.
I do not like that at all. Kill me. And I'm going up against Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Most frustrating game ever. It was over at halftime. I was up 30 points, and it was over by halftime. It was like, oh, I have no chance. All right, let's go to bed.
They're inevitable.
Yeah, they are. That's a good way to put it. All right, Saturday. We get these Saturday games, which I'm excited about. ESPN, ABC. I believe this is the night game. Cowboys at Eagles.
Yes, it is. Sorry.
The Eagles are a 7-point underdog. How about the Eagles in the playoffs? Did not see that coming.
No.
My guy, Jalen Hurts.
The Eagles almost lost Jalen Hurts. See that fence come down?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And not surprising in that stadium in Washington. That place is just a dump.
I was going to say dump. Good for him for handling that with class and posing with the Eagles fans for pictures after that. They
almost killed him.
If you have not seen it, the railing of the stands collapses as they're cheering on Jalen Hurts as he's leaving the field, and they nearly fell on top of him along with the fence, but he escaped that, and then took pictures with the Eagles fans that had fallen on their faces.
I'm surprised.
I'm taking the Eagles this week.
How did nobody? I still don't understand how nobody got hurt with that.
Well, I imagine at the time alcohol had a factor in the durability of the fans.
I thought you were talking about the durability of the fence.
Also, that too, probably some wear and tear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Eagles in this, winning outright.
Really? Well, the Cowboys are still playing for seeding, right?
Right, but I'm here to get crazy.
Yeah, okay. You're here to get crazy. I'll take the Cowboys to win, Eagles to cover. How about that?
Okay.
Game is in Philly. Fox noon, Packers at Lions. I don't believe the Packers have said Rodgers isn't playing, right? I don't think that. But I'm a little surprised the Lions are only a 4-point underdog here. I mean, the line certainly suggests that the starters aren't playing, but I could also see the Lions winning if the Packers are sitting.
I believe Matt LaFleur has indicated or suggested that they're going to play a little bit, his starters and best players.
Okay.
Just because they're looking at, they got the first round bye. He doesn't like the idea of the layoff here and rhythm and whatnot. So maybe a little bit of action for number 12.
It's a bold strategy, but.
So here's my prediction. They will lose to the Lions because Aaron Rodgers is going to come out in the second quarter, and Jordan Love is going to be Jordan Love, and Jared Goff will be slightly better.
Yeah, and also the Lions' defense isn't horrible. Like, they play some teams tough. And if Jordan Love's out there, I agree. So I'm actually going to go with you on this one. I think the Lions win outright.
Okay. Welcome to the club.
CBS noon, Steelers at Ravens. The Ravens are a 5.5-point favorite.
I'm going Steelers.
Yeah, I'll take the Steelers too, at least to cover. Ravens, man, been a tough.
It's been a tough year. They were one of the best teams in the league at one point. Then injuries and whatnot, and here you are.
Remember when the Bears could have beaten them?
I do.
Fox 325. I keep forgetting to press these drops.
You're not listening, Chris.
Fox 325. 49ers at Rams. Rams a 4.5-point favorite at home.
Rams.
I'll take the 49ers to cover, but Rams to win.
With Jimmy G?
Is he back?
He's supposed to be back.
Yeah, Trey Lance was kind of a disappointment, huh? I mean, they still won relatively comfortable, but I guess
he's young.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's the thing. Rookie quarterbacks.
2 games.
Rookie quarterbacks look like rookie quarterbacks.
And that's the facts. That's 100% truth.
NBC 720. This is your regular season nightcap. Chargers at Raiders with plenty on the line. The Raiders are a 3-point home dog. I think I like the Raiders.
I do too. I literally was just, how do you pronounce the coach's last name? Rich. We should know this. Bisaccia.
Rich
yes.
Bisaccia.
We should get to know it because I think he's going to be a coaching candidate here around the league. If the Raiders don't retain him, I think he's earned that, right? Chris Mortensen literally just tweeted something about this.
Like right now?
No, about 40 minutes. I don't know why it's showing up on my timeline right now, but there you go. I'm going to say Raiders as well. The Chargers have been tough to figure out. So the Raiders are still getting the 3, but I'm gonna pick the Raiders to win outright.
Yeah, I think so too. Be a fun Sunday night game. Good weekend of football on tap, and even the Bears game has some intrigue because Justin Fields is playing. So how about this? Just don't complain about it. Just enjoy the ride. As long as he doesn't get hurt, then you can complain.
That is it.
And I'm sure our voicemail line will fill up. So we will have a post-game episode, and we'll try to get it out to you as fast as possible because I'm sure by Monday things will change. We will react, and maybe we'll have an emergency episode Monday. Not sure. If nothing else, we'll be back Tuesday morning, and don't worry, we're not going anywhere. It's just feels like the season's just getting started, quite frankly, with this.
I have a feeling you're going to hear from us on Monday.
So
the emergency podcast will be a very elongated. Well, let's call it even pre-planned.
Yeah, it's pretty much is. We might as well schedule it. But we will have an episode, at least a short one, coming out of Minnesota on Sunday as well. And as cold as it is up there, I do enjoy going up there. My niece, I should give her a shout out. She turns 1 today.
Oh, happy birthday!
And yeah, she was born during the insurrection, which is something we can always talk about. And anyway, so they live up towards Minnesota on the Wisconsin side of things. So going up to Minnesota, it's always fun for me to see family, and we're going to be celebrating her birthday as well. So shout out to my niece and turning 1. Shout out to everyone else. Thanks again for and everyone who's chimed in. We really do appreciate it. Voicemails were great this week. And we'll keep plugging on here with this Bears team and the coaching search that's certainly coming, and everything else. So,
you're going to hear a lot from us next week.
Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Jahns. Check us out on YouTube. The merch is up. ObviousShirts.com. Get these JD sweatshirts first and foremost. Our merchandise is also up there. If you'd like to buy it, you can see the hat on Johnson's head. You made it the whole episode with it on. Congratulations.
It's cozy.
Admit it, you're just afraid to show people your hat hair now.
My bed head, too.
That's why you're wearing a hat in the first place. See, I took a shower.
We'll hit the Peloton here in a little bit, get the day going.
I don't know how you have time for that. Mine just sits down there cold and
collecting dust.
Basically.
Dude, you can literally hop on it for like 10 minutes and get a good workout. Get the juices flowing.
I could. You're right. I could. Doing it's a whole nother story. All right. We're out of here. Talk to you.
See ya.
Anyway, who cares?